Doug Ford's Conservatives are planning on eliminating some elected positions, with the education minister talking about getting rid of school trustees. These are elected politicians whose job it is to help manage school boards. And this system of school trustees has existed in Ontario for 175 years. You see, what happened is that the Ford government kept underfunding public schools, and then they were saying you guys are mismanaging your funds, and then they started taking over some school boards, including the Toronto boards, the Ottawa board, and some others. With the education minister telling the school boards that they are unnoticed and must direct money to the classrooms. Here's the thing, what money? You guys have been chronically underfunding education since the moment you came into office. Ontario has the lowest per pupil funding in education in this country. And according to an audit of the Ottawa Carleton School Board, there are no examples of reckless or deliberate wrongdoing, lack of financial oversight or governance, or actions resulting in potential reputational damage. Basically, they were audited and the audit came back clean. The board and the trustees are not doing anything wrong. Yet they have had 5 years in a row of a deficit. Why? Because Doug Ford is underfunding education. The education minister is saying that we need to direct funds to the classroom, but Ottawa Carleton had to cut $18 million from its budget, a budget which auditors said there's nothing wrong with, just so that they could have a balanced budget. 175 years of democratically elected school boards in Canada. And Doug Ford's Conservatives want to get rid of that part of our democracy. And listen, I've had fights with multiple school boards and their trustees. In particular, the Halton Catholic Board and the York Catholic Board when they refused to fly the Pride flag. And you know what? We convinced the Halton Catholic trustees to fly the Pride flag. We weren't able to convince the York Catholic trustees to do so. So I am coming from this from the perspective of somebody who has issues with some of the trustees in this province. Getting rid of democratically elected trustees that help manage our school boards would be an erosion of our democracy. But Doug Ford and his Conservatives do not care about that. They don't care about your rights. They don't care about funding school boards properly. And they do not care about your children getting the education that they need. They just care about cutting the budget and making people dumber. Doug Ford won't be happy until your children are as illiterate as he is.